because you can't take 3D into 5D and then expect the same results. It's not going to work. So you need to become a vibrational match with what you want to do, and what you what you manifest, what you want to create going forward, so that you don't start having that reflected back onto you in your reality. Otherwise, you're going to feel like ascension isn't working. Don't forget to hit subscribe and also follow me on Telegram so you can get all the information that you can't get on here. If you go into the video description down below, there will be a link and you'll see it and it'll take you right there. Hello beautiful starseeds and light workers, it's Alexander Quinn here, Starseed Navigating the Light. Today I'm going to be looking at the forecast of what's going to be going on energetically and vibrationally in October. And I've been making a lot of videos about big energy waves coming in, big energies hitting us, DNA upgrades. That's been a lot of the sort of narrative on my channel recently. Well, all through August and September, it's been like a white knuckle ride. We've been taking in huge energies and our bodies have been feeling it. We've been getting the stiff jaw or heart palpitations, feeling very, very dizzy, not able to sleep at night, not able to wake up in the morning, lower back pains, joint pains, feeling very, very stiff and strong ascension symptoms. Often we'll be walking in the kitchen and then we can't remember why we went in there. That's partly also because we're becoming more multi-dimensional, less linear, and our memory is also changing as well. So you're going to find in October, like I was saying in the last video, a lot of starseeds and light workers are going to become hermits this month. They're going to be staying in a lot more where they can, especially in the weekends, to integrate all the energies from the last 2 months so they can embody all of it. So it's quite important to relax into October a little bit more. It is going to be very, very different. Ascension symptoms are going to cool off a little bit, but a lot of people are going to want to stay at home as much as they can as soon as they get back from work or on the weekends, so they can take on board the last 2 months worth of things that have been happening. So if you feel like a hermit, don't worry, there's going to be a lot of people doing that. And we're going to be touching on all of the things going both 3D and 5D in this month of October. One major epicenter of this coming month, well, the month we are in now, October, is going to be about more breakthroughs. It's going to be about more things coming together, falling in place. Also, we've got a new moon, if you're astrologically entwined into that sort of energy. So you will need to put less energy. You won't have to force things through in October. More things will come to you. So allow for abundance to come to you, opportunities to come to you. You're not going to have to force it through. You're not going to have to walk on that tightrope so much as you did in the last 2 months. Allow things to just come through to you and sit back a little bit actually in this month. It might feel like you have to force things through, but don't worry, you won't need to. You are going to get more breakthroughs, and all of the things that you were putting into manifestation in the last 2 months are going to start showing up in October. Now, since the energies are calming down or about to start calming down, there's going to be a divergence of some interesting timelines and cord cutting that's going to start happening. Now, this is going to be related to your consciousness awareness, because when we have a higher consciousness, we set higher parameters and boundaries around us so that lower entities, lower energies can't get to us, and we rise above it. Now, that's quite important to take on board with what I'm going to say next about the timelines that are going to be converging now that we're dipping into a slightly different energy going into October. What's going to be happening with timelines is now that the energies are calmed down a little bit, it's going to be like the dust settling. And with the dust settling, you're going to be finding old people and old relationships trying to permeate through osmosis, coming back into your life. And that will be all about old timelines wanting and cords wanting to be cut. Time is circular, it's not linear. So things always come back around. So what these old timelines are going to be doing is coming back to the surface. You're going to have old friends coming to the surface, perhaps toxic ones, perhaps codependent ones, 3D ones that you've released. And instead of them coming back up around for you to then integrate it back into your life, what it is showing you is it is saying, I'm coming back to the surface because this cord was never cut completely, and I'm coming back up for dismissal So you can completely dismiss this fully this time. So if you do get codependent old relationships, 3D relationships coming back into the surface in October because the energies have changed and the dust is settling, I recommend do have a think on it yourself, that you think what is for your highest good, and does this need to come back into my life? I got rid of it for a reason. So it's not going to be coming back likely because it wants or needs to come back. It's coming back because it's not been cut completely, and it's coming back for final dismissal, even if it was a few years ago. Timeline convergences and conclusions are coming up this month. And as you go into a higher consciousness, you're going to set higher boundaries and higher parameters for you. That's why people who are unawakened and in 3D have much lower boundaries, and they take on a lot of other people's energies, and they take on a lot of drama, and it just circulates round and round and round and round. So when old timelines do pop up, they don't dismiss them, they just let them in and the cycle continues. So that's going to be quite important in October. I'm going to give you another metaphor for how October is going to play out. Imagine you go to a concert hall and you go and see a beautiful piece of classical music, and you're on a real high while you're watching Paganini's Variations, perhaps it's a Rachmaninoff or something like that, and you're enthralled in the music, but you're very in the music. The external is very much coming down onto you and you're part of the music. October is going to be a lot more about the musicians leaving the stage and the audience leaving, and then it's just you left in this wide gaping room with just you and your breath. Well, that's what it's going to be a little bit like with your shadow in October. But this time there's going to be a big difference. You're going to be left and looking at a lot more parts of your shadow. And in October, much more than the whole rest of this year, it's going to be a lot easier to integrate it, and you're going to be okay with it, and it's not going to be scary. It's going to be a lot easier to find your light in your shadow, and that's where you're not going to be projecting out onto the world and having your triggers and all the rest of it. And then you get balance, and then you stop spiritual bypassing, because you can be projecting and through ego even in 5D, so you have to be careful. So you're going to find it a lot easier to work through your hurt and your trauma and find your light and be okay with it this month, because the dust is settling and you're going to be okay with it, and you don't need to be afraid of it. And that's going to be great, because that's where you get your strength from. Another thing to watch out in October is relationship dynamics changing. Now, in August and September, as I was saying, it was like a white knuckle ride. And around you, you would have had a set of people or a person who was helping you manifest and work through that energy. Now, as the dust is settling after a very, very intense period, you're going to see relationships morphing into something else and people coming and going. Allow this to happen, because the energy metaphorically of what's going to be happening relationshiply, or in terms of relationship, that's a new word that I just created, that's probably my dyslexia coming through, is going to be a little bit like, if you can imagine your relationships are furniture in your house. You come back from work and the furniture is still in your house, but it's changed a little bit. And as we go deeper and deeper into the higher energies, things are moving and shifting and changing all the time. So don't worry about this. It's because you're having a facilitation from new people coming in, and you need to allow this to happen. You're not going to lose anyone, but relationships are going to change and morph. Now that the very high energies and the dust is settling, let this happen. It's going to happen to a lot of people. And you're going to see this with the galactic messages from Yeshua, the Octurians, the Syrians, so on and so forth. You know our galactic friends. Their messages are going to be entwined and in relationship with what I'm speaking about. It's going to be more congratulatory. Well done for taking on the energies. There's going to be a lot of more sort of grounded messages coming in from our galactic friends. So you're going to see it there as well. Now I'm going to touch a little bit on the 3D things and what to look out. Not too many things, but what's going to be happening on the 3D perspective. Now, on the 3D side of things vibrationally, people are calling this Red October. Truths coming out and many, many things happening. And there's a very important message that I want to give to you. But first, let's have a look at astrologically what this will feel like coming in. The Mercury retrograde strikes. You know, things like the social media giants going down for 7 hours. At the same time, Mercury retrograde links with Neptune, scandal, confusion, internal leaks. Plus Mars in Libra links with Uranus in Taurus, a clash between tradition, status quo, and new technologies, modern ways. Shocking revelations are often associated with these planetary patterns. Now, it is very, very important. Yes, I understand it's fun to see the 3D matrix down. And in the coming months towards the end of the year, and especially in October, people are calling it Red October, we're going to be seeing a lot of falls and a lot more of the 3D matrix breaking down. It's going to be a lot more obvious, but I do want to give you a very important message. Remember that we are deep in ascension now. The energies are much higher than they have ever been. Thoughts become things, and we must be a vibrational match for what it is that we want. So if you are dwelling too much in the 3D, if you are dwelling too much in the fall of the 3D matrix, you are going to become a vibrational match with a falling world. Let me say it again. You're going to become a vibrational match for a falling world that is crumbling away. So you need to stay in your power. And to stay in your power, you want to become a vibrational match with 5D, what you want to create and where you want to go. Because if you're too wrapped up in all the scandal and everything happening, what you're going to find is that your ascension and your 5D work is not going to start working, and you're going to start getting frustrated because you can't take 3D into 5D and then expect the same results. It's not going to work. So you need to become a vibrational match with what you want to do, what you manifest, what you want to create going forward, so that you don't start having that reflected back onto you in your reality. Otherwise, you're going to feel like ascension isn't working. That's super important in the month of October and going forward. So thanks for watching this video. Every week, as you know, I'm always here and bringing out what's the latest stuff that's happening energetically. The Arcturians will be with me again soon, and I look forward to that. I do love them so much. I read all of your comments below. And thank you for your comments. Do go below, leave the comments, check me out on Telegram so you can get further information so I can share all the things that you can't get on here. I love you guys, and what exciting time it is to be alive. But remember, October, become a vibrational match for what it is you want, because you're going to start receiving it in the manifestations after the white knuckle ride of August and September. Peace and love.